Bueno, estamos con la final. Ahora sí, tenemos a la jugada de Rikka, Jessica contra Christian, que creo que está jugando Kashtira, ¿no? Me parece. Acabamos de ver cómo en 2 segunditos, un minutito nomás, se dio 5 el jugador Eldritch, no, Labyrinth y una plumita y saluditos. Sale acá, salí. Bueno, a este Christian le tuvimos ya, ¿no? Y ahí empezó con normal de Yokai, ya empezó a linkear. Ok, vamos bien. Ok, bueno, está interesante. Llegamos por fin a la final. 44 minutos. El reloj. Vamos a disfrutarlo. Entonces, vamos a ver qué pasa. Ya la final es bastante interesante por acá. Viendo esto, me imagino lo que iba a pasar por la cabeza. Bueno. Bien. Ok, Concon.
Jessica's already used the glamour this turn. It probably means she's going to have to go after sheep to set face down.
Which is quite okay, right?
It's pretty handy, so she's going to have at least sheep has 2 impermanents, so I guess it's a mystery to us still what the last card how might be.
Bueno, vienen 15 rondas. Hasta ahora, esta es la ronda 16, digamos. Deben terminar cansadísimos jugando. Pero bueno. Ya estar ahí es un logro ya. El top 4 puede clasificar al mundial, ¿no? Seguramente, vamos a ver, que gana primero también, el segundo también. Y creo que entre el tercero y cuarto hacen. El que gana también clasifica.
Really interesting build from Thomas here. Like almost all of the other Kashtira decks we've seen in the most popular cards play things like maybe Talents, maybe Book of Moon, but Christian just going for a full suite of hand traps instead. What do you think of that?
I mean, you got to give it to him.
He's the final,
so
yeah.
obviously it's the correct decision. But I really like it when everyone goes into one direction. It's usually a very smart move to just counter the field and go for a different approach. So therefore, I'm quite happy with what Christian did here.
One of the things I do like about it is it might make you a lot less vulnerable to cards like Evenly Matched and Lightning Storm. So a lot of times, you know, even though the Kashtira board is extremely threatening, you do. You keep cards in hand then, instead of you keep your interruptions in hand instead of leaving them on the field, you're less vulnerable to those cards.
Yeah, totally. So we are revealing a bunch of spell cards.
Okay.
We see there's also Effect Veiler in there and the Ash Blossom. So do we have enough hand interruptions already, or do we need the engine here?
That would be amazing to see Effect Veiler.
Maybe the Ash Blossom.
Bueno,
if he already has the
tema Terraforming, como dijimos, Apoteosis, agarró Beer, ok.
If you can already play this, helps you play through some interruptions. You can always go for a Unicorn here, search out Atheosis, activate that one. See if your opponent wants to do something with the Rikka sheet, because I imagine that you will have to wait this one out first.
Ok, especial de Fenrir. Bien.
I want to say this is definitely
Kashtira nuevamente en la final.
impermanence immediately. Keep in mind, middle zone.
Otra vez una final Kashtira. Demasiado fuerte el deck.
And we are reading Rikka cards again. Of course. Flashback to 1 year ago where Marcus Patel played those cards in the finals, and still people have not picked up on it completely.
Sí,
I think he knows what
el
does.
año pasado fue
Take a moment to check. One thing to know about
Patel, que lo vimos acá jugando Rikka también, que ganó con Rikka en este torneo. Y nuevamente la final tenemos a Rikka.
Riceheart here is also a really good choice there because you can special summon the Riceheart, activate this effect, and then force the Rikka sheet out with a Dark Out. And then you have the bird to summon back the Fenrir that you can then activate.
Let's see, maybe there is another impermanence bow. Oh wait, no, we know that there's one Rikka Glamour, so
yeah,
it should be Sheet plus Glamour, but let's see. First of all, of course, the effect is going to pay its cost. We are banishing the Unicorn from the top of the deck. And is there going to be a small response to this? She kind of has to, right?
I think you have to here because you can tribute one of your opponent's monsters to take control of the other one, so that you don't want to let them combine into an XYZ because then you have to tribute your own Mudan instead.
The only problem with that is that you're leaving an open field to that.
So
Kashtira players like when their field is empty because they can just special summon out Kashtira monsters again from their hand for free. So that could turn out to be a problem. And now I think I like what Christian's doing because by the fact that now has free monsters on the field, Rikka sheet isn't as powerful anymore.
I think it really is because now you can take away the Unicorn and then leave your opponent with maybe just the Riceheart for this turn.
Yeah, I agree with Leo here. I'm not sure. I feel like you should try and force out the Rikka sheet before.
I think the Dark Out would have been a really good line.
Or Big Eye, or anything really to force out the Rikka sheet and get
Estaba
them
pensando.
So
Y ahí activa la Rikka sheet.
Jessica also agreeing with the two of you, and she found the spot to use it. Which one are we tributing? Probably the one that already used its effect, right?
That's a really good question, actually.
Yeah, we're trying to tribute the Fenrir and try to take control of.
Y toma control de Unicornio.
Right, she played around the enemy.
Do you think that there's going to be a normal summon Fenrir here?
There hasn't been a normal summon yet this time.
Yes.
So That's why it's scary. There's like the normal summon still available, so leaving Christian
Si
with
viene un
in
icono
that
en
case
mano,
is not that great.
puede ser normal.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier,
Con
it's
continuo.
nice to play around the enemy controller.
And there
And
it
there's
is.
ahí
normal
está.
summon Fenrir.
Fenrir.
That is incredibly powerful, and that explains why he wanted to bait out the Rikka sheet just like that. We can now just safely go search some follow-up, or you could even go for the Scareclaw Kashtira to extend your field even more and secure Kashtira Rise out.
O sí.
It must have been that the impermanence
on activation,
was changed to Defender. I was going to say, because there's
Okay.
obviously the upside of not being enemy controller, but there's big
Sí le
downside
hicieron
to
impermanence en la activación de Fenrir, así que
Honestly,
uno
Christian
activa
piloted
nuevamente.
really well. Like step by step, he was playing around stuff, and he now ended up with an Exceed monster on the field that will be able to activate and probably also resolve its effect.
Jessica just asking for a translation, maybe? Looks like the judge is translating
Okay.
Jessica there.
Yeah.
Están traduciendo cartas.
The Dragon of Annihilation that can be used twice per turn, or as many times as you have materials, but in this case, it would only be 2.
Bien.
You cannot attack after you've used its effect. So if you want to rank up that Dark Arm into a Zeus, then you would have to attack before using its
I
effect.
think that's a pretty cute line, isn't it? Just going for the battle phase first, trying to run over the Mudan, and then in main phase 2 trying to go
Okay,
for
va-
the Zeus
se va a
after
tener más.
clearing another
Sí.
card of the field.
I mean, there is also a way in
¿Te
which you
pega?
want to keep your birth on the field.
True.
So you could
Agreed.
agree to pop the Mudan, pop the Concon, just so you could stop the follow-up, and once there is this...
Porque sé que dijo
Glamour
que este es
activation
nivel
later on-
4, no sé qué, pero
We,
yo
yeah, we
no
can
sabía
attack
que
it down
es
and
nivel
then pop the
7.
2 other cards, and then you get the unit
Oh,
back.
right. That's probably the line.
I don't know if you guys noticed that, but I really enjoyed seeing the neuron app in
Bien,
action. That was
leyendo
really sweet.
ahí.
You just scanned the card and just showed it. That was really cool.
Yeah,
I really
Neuron
liked
is
that.
a good
Perfecto.
application for sure. So, Dark Arm is being activated, and they double read it, and we know that this card is Glamour, so we want to deny Jessica out of her follow-up
Okay.
here.
So just the one card in hand going to be left for Jessica after this, staring down a Unicorn and a Kashtira,
Bien.
whatever Christian's last card in hand
Perfecto
is.
para
Also,
romper, rompe ahí.
Rikka has good follow-up by Rikka Paddle, but there is no
El
paddle this
efecto
time to
por el
step
dragón
back out
ese,
from the graveyard.
o sea, tiene que pegar antes, porque si no, aquí el efecto antes de pegar no puede pegar. Después que pegó. Ahora unicornio
Lovely
bueno.
by Christian, very well piloted, and now what
Y
can
pasó.
Jessica even do here?
Ahora,
Can she even
She's
do
not
entonces su
packing
carta.
up!
Ok.
She does pack up her stuff, and that means
Entonces su
Christian
carta ahí.
talks even about going second in this game,
1-0.
is taking game number 1 here with the Kashtira
Está
strategy.
ganando.
Wow.
I did not see that coming. That
Vamos
one
a
up was
juego 2.
crazy.
Yeah.
Jugó
Just
bastante bien.
completely shut down Jessica's. I mean, we've seen time and time again. Just
Porque tenía. Bueno, tenía mejor campo. Él tuvo hand traps, o sea, interrumpió, así que eso fue importante.
Here we go.
Puede
Can Christian
interrumpirla
Thomas
mientras
do
juega.
it one more time, win this going second, or
Porque
will
si no,
Jessica
va a
now
establecer el
really,
campo.
really show us why she
Muy
got
difícil.
that far, why she
Okay.
is the Rikka
Bien,
expert
duelo
that she
2,
definitely is.
1-0.
I like the
Gana el
Jessica
Kashtira.
conversation just being like, yes, I will.
Quedan 32 minutos
I'm
todavía.
not going to try anything crazy.
Yeah, you gotta be
in the final.
formal, just informing your opponent
Vamos
if
a
you would like
empezar
to start
nuevamente
this off,
Jessica.
and how is she going to do so?
Is she going to start with a Genius Sun Lokai?
No,
Okay.
this time she is bringing out Marcus Patel. No, no, it's not
It
like
should be
that.
called
It's
Rikka
Rikka
Robinson
Patel.
at this point,
Rikka
right?
Robinson.
I agree. So we are
Bien.
searching out Rikka Princess. Quick double read by Christian Thomas.
Rikka Patel,
As we were
Rikka
saying,
Rikka
this is not Sun
Princess.
Genius Lokai, so we're not starting off with the Sun Avalon stuff,
Sí.
and we got right into the Rikka stuff instead. And
Lo que yo
usually
sabía, sí,
it's
ok.
Sun Avalon
Escucho
first,
que ellos lo
Rikka
dicen,
second,
tal, y yo
but now she
repito,
already
me
has to
parece.
start with the ladder.
Efecto
Yeah,
de
is there
Rikka
a way to
Princess.
bridge into the
Invoca.
Celtic cup? I don't think there is from here.
I mean, to be fair, you can just also use the Petal
Link
to fix
uno.
it into the Dryas, but totally works
Robolito.
because it only needs one level 4 or lower plant monster. But
Rikka
then, yeah, as you
Robolito.
just see, she actually used the Rikka Princess here. And
No,
if you have
ok,
Soul in
lo
your hand
tiene
already,
mano,
that
tiene
will do
mano
the
el
trick, because
Soul,
now we are
eso no es
into our
Soul.
Sun Avalon combo. If
Oh.
you have that card hard drawn, and that does resolve.
Oh, that's very cool. Yeah, I was going to say, you don't get the full effect of the Dryas, but if
Yeah.
you've already got
Yeah,
the Soul,
you
you
look,
can
Exactly, there's no search of the Soul,
Yeah,
but if the
initial.
Soul is already in your opening hand, that doesn't matter at all to you.
So we are immediately
Lokai,
getting out the
no?
Lokai here as well, ready to combo off. This is a bit of an awkward start for
Nunca
Jessica,
vi una
but
vainilla
I
tan-
am 100%
tan
sure
meta
that
como
she
es.
knows how to
Claro.
go on from here.
She basically can play out every single Rikka hand there is. I'm 100% sure, so she will have no trouble to also
Yeah.
figure out the
No,
line here. I'm
con
really,
Link.
really sure. And the cool thing now is
no
also
sé
that
cómo
there's
lo
Rikka
jugó,
Princess
pero
already
ese
in the
es el-
graveyard, so Christian, with his 1,000+ wall hand traps, is not going to be able to resolve the first one that he would like to use.
yeah, you will need at least 2, unless, of course, one of them is infinite impermanence, and that one works by itself. I don't know if it's in his deck, but
It is, of course.
one of the coolest hand traps because it's actually a trap and gets around a lot of monster negation.
Absolutely. So Jessica going to
Parece que
activate
tiene
Rikka Karma
impermanence
here.
por
What are we
Kashtira. Hermano,
searching? Oh, we are searching Lily Borea and also
Okay.
the Snowdrop.
está buscando
That is a super cool pair of
la Lily, la Ethereum,
cards to add to your hand.
Y
Lily
the
Borea going to
Snowdrop.
find its way into Therion King Regulus, pretty sharp.
de Rikka Fairy.
There is the effect of
Bien.
Lily Borea. So
Esto de
if
Lily
Christian has
va a
something to do
establecer
here
el
on
Therion.
Jessica's turn, it's probably going to be soon because we are now
Perfecto.
also going to grab that Regulus, so we will have a double negate set up.
Costo.
And that is double protection from hand traps. I think that
Y
Christian
ahí va
is
a
going to
traer
have to deal
el
with
campo
some
va a traer el
field breaking
Regulus.
cards here, but I think looking at the side deck, there are quite a few, right?
That's the thing. He only plays the good old hand traps in the main deck, but from the side deck, there's much more coming in terms of field breaking cards. Frost, Talons, Lightning Storm, Duster. I think he's good to go, even though he has no interruption just yet.
Do you think that maybe he just sides out all of those hand
Todavía
traps
no,
to
no
have
bajó
full
el,
bounce spell
That
breaks?
would
puso
be
el
pretty
campo ya.
crazy. Just tricking your opponent into believing that it's only going to
No
be hand traps,
estableció el
and then just
Therion
full field
Regulus
break cards
todavía.
in the second game.
I think Jessica will be fine with that. I feel like Rikka is excellent at
Tenemos un C-Twin ahí en campo, tenemos nuevamente el inicio, ahí activa el buscarse el Terion.
The thing is, I do believe you're just always going to side in a Traigo Rose Whip, whatever it is. And if your opponent then decides to go for the field breaking cards, that is a problem because Lightning Storm and so on will not really be able to get rid of that.
Ah, but the Dark Rule no more.
Would be able to, but I think
Jasmine
no
nuevamente.
in Christian Thomas' deck.
That's indeed true.
Alright then. Rose Whip will be excellent against him.
Ah, tiene el...
So
No.
Jessica just double checking.
No,
I love how Jessica and Christian are playing with each
Está
other.
mostrando en
Every single
Turia
time after something happens, just
Rose
confirming
Whip.
with your opponent that it's okay, that we can move on, that we can definitely have
Otra vuelta
a
más.
safe round to play on.
Yeah, it's always nice to see
Y otro ese, que ese sí no sé cómo se llama. Bueno, ahorita tampoco sé cómo se llama. Algo sonaba, ¿no?
We have the healer on the field as well. Now the light points are going to be adjusted once more, getting some 300 light points in. Tasty.
Absolutely.
I don't know where that came from, to be honest.
So
You really wanted those life points.
already on the screen there in the
Estoy verificando nomás que está en velocidad 1.5.
And the only thing he could think about here would be a potential Nibiru, I want to say.
Nibiru.
Does he have Nibiru plus impermanence or something like that?
But I
Well,
mean,
you can't negate
the
the
princess, right?
princess with an
Están
impermanence.
charlando
Fair
ahí.
enough.
Although Nibiru plus
Pensando.
impermanence is usually just completely foolproof. There's very rarely a way to stop that, but here we do.
Is he running DD Crow as well?
Did DD Crow shuffles back for Princess shuffles back
Si
for
tenía
Cox.
Nibiru, que es
Preemptively
ahora.
DD Crow, yeah.
No sé si tiene para negar. No puede ser
This
que
is really
sí.
the last chance for him to use.
Y no estoy viendo la
Hammer, because
negación.
Therian King is going to be
Tiene
something.
dos negaciones capaz.
It should be the case, yeah.
Oh, unless, am I right in thinking that Paddle locks you into plants for the turn?
Is it Paddle? There is one Rikka card that locks you into plants, that's for sure, but I'm not sure whether it is Paddle. Leo, you just have the card right there.
I'm going to let you guys read it as well.
Yeah, you cannot special
Yeah.
summon monsters except plant
So
monsters.
Regulus is not going to be a card here, but we did search for Primula right there. But
Está,
also
si no puede
Polo,
bajar
which are
Regulus
playing this
por...
deck.
Yeah, I think Primula is
Carpet.
included. I mean, it's a reasonable
Ok,
extender.
porque deja solo invocar plantas. Deja solo invocar plantas.
Oh, and
Eso
there's the
que
impermanence onto the Jasmine.
Impermanence,
And there's nothing Jasmine can
Jasmine.
do about it. As we said, multiple ways to negate
Bien.
monster effects, but impermanence is just a trap card.
Christian is now doing what Yoho really couldn't do in his game versus Jessica. He is incredibly patient, waiting for the perfect moment to throw this infinite impermanence.
25 minutos campeando.
But let's see how she can continue this turn.
I wonder what level she made her monsters.
Ok, le interrumpió en ambos duelos.
Doesn't matter if you're going to lick summon with them.
Oh,
There's
and
another
Acá
I
también.
don't really know whether I've ever seen that before. There's one
Otro
Jasmine
Jasmine,
in
¿no?
the extra monster zone, and now another one in the main monster zone. And there's going to be the effect of Sunbind Healer to be used from the graveyard.
And now Christian will have to read the cards again because they have so many different effects.
So, yep, Healer's back, Healer targeting, V-Dryas, and Jessica once more gaining life
Yeah,
points. I don't know,
sigue
is that
jugando,
just her
está
strategy
dando
from now
vida.
on? Are we just winning by gaining life
No
points at
creo
that
que
point?
importe
Right,
igual
I was just
mucho.
double checking the effect of
Quedan
Jasmine.
5
It looks like
minutos.
the effect to add a plant from your deck to your hand is not limited to once per turn. So if you summon another copy, I think you can just do it again.
That would be really cool.
The next question is how many...
Wow!
Otra impermanence,
Another
ok.
impermanence by Christian.
Dos
So
impermanence.
Jessica following it up with a second copy of Jasmine, but
Y ahora viene la tercera copia de
And you have to
Jasmine, ¿no?
start with the princess already locking herself out of the Regulus
nada que ver.
petal and
No
then
dije nada.
realizing that your opponent is just
bajó ese
impermanence. That is crucial.
tronco
I
ese
think
que
she's
se
just going to
experimenta,
have a
¿eh?
Lancer.
that's usually what's coming out of the Himalayas.
Nuevamente tenemos el anillo en el campo.
Well, probably going to end up. Okay, he goes for, or she goes for the
Venga,
Right,
lanza.
Himalayas into Bengal Lancer, as you were
Okay.
just saying. The thing is, Bengal Lancer, in theory, a pretty cool card, but versus Kashtira specifically,
Yeah.
getting cards back to the opponent's hand is not really what you wish.
Can basically just deny a Theosis if your
Hace
opponent doesn't start
una
with defense.
camiseta.
Yeah, she does still have the Snowdrop effect, so she's going to make her rank 8 here, it looks like.
Bien.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
Okay.
that's a lot better. Now it's Bengal Lancer plus also the
Teardrop.
Teardrop.
Teardrop
We know
en
it
campo.
looks like Jessica's got 2 cards in her hand, so that would make
Perfecto.
for one
Teardrop.
Therion King
Puede ser.
and one that we don't know.
And it also looks like we did not
Bien.
get the Concon to the field, so we are also not having Ricochet, which is usually
Okay,
the best
entonces dos impermanence.
I mean, we just had no
Ah,
access
y
to
pasó,
Muda
¿no?
at all, and Muda
Okay.
is like the key point of getting your Rikka engine going, and therefore Jessica will
A
only
ver
have to
que tiene.
rely on
No hay nada
this
seteado.
as being her
Puedo bajar el
Does
Ethereum.
Christian have now one of those field-breaking cards we were talking about?
Depende
Does he
de lo
just
que
have
tenga,
Dark
pero
Hole to immediately go
bastante
after
bien
this?
al menos.
Dark
Parece.
would be absolutely strong right here. I don't think that this is in the deck though.
It would
Creo
still
que
be
mejor
cool.
todavía.
We're summoning out
Okay.
Unicorn
And
here.
now it's a crucial point. Do we just tribute this right away and pray that Christian doesn't have another Kashtira monster?
Or do we let it go through and maybe search a birth? What do we think of that?
I mean, Birth then also is crucial, so I think at this point Jessica kind of has to take a gamble, hoping that there's no additional Unicorn in his hand. I mean, there's only 2 Unicorn in his deck, so chances are
No,
that there is
no
no
dice nada.
additional one.
Maybe Princess?
Ya
Alright.
queda el efecto de unicornio.
So Christian is able to surge off of Unicorn, and this
Puede
adds a
pasar.
birth. This is an indicator that there already might be the Kashtira Theosis in hand, or are we just going to normal summon a Fenrir next to the Unicorn?
I feel like the birth is higher priority than Theosis here. If you activate Theosis, you mentioned,
Yeah.
then you can chain Bengal Lancer, and that will stop the Theosis from summoning monsters.
Yeah, also the Teardrop is going to tribute one of Christian's monsters, so it will end up in the graveyard at some point, and then having Kashtira Birth ready is pretty decent. But Christian
900
taking his
de
time
vida,
to figure out
como
what to do.
For birth to be valuable, of
Tipo de
course, you need
Rikka,
another monster in hand.
también
Because if
lo
you have
más.
nothing, then you would have to go for the Theosis.
No veo nada.
Yeah, and probably you want exactly
Por
what
Kashtira,
we're in.
pero
Maybe
con
I said
solo
now
con
maybe you can have
unicornio
Rice Heart, which
en un
would
campo así
special summon
bastante
itself, allow you
fuerte.
to banish Fenrir from your deck, so you can get that back birth.
Oh, and there's
Ahí se nos vale Henry.
Now I think it is
Tras
perfect. Okay, Bangalancer is just going to bounce that one. That's a pretty
Van der
huge
Lancer.
Bangalancer here.
I do like that, but Christian takes his
Perfecto.
time thinking about whether to respond. Of course, you will have to pay 2,400 life points for that, but it is going back to hand. Does
Bien,
Christian have a
vuelve
way
a
to
mano.
extend from that?
Okay.
As we were saying, Rysart would be a pretty good way to do that, but does he have access to that? Maybe Theosis as well?
Also, there's still Princess, right?
Yeah, the Princess is less valuable of a negation when you don't have the con-con because you can't tribute an opponent's negation effect. Instead, you have to tribute one of your own, which is normally fine, but both of Jessica's monsters seem pretty valuable here.
Oh, but we are, of course, activating the effect of Kashtira Unicorn, so Christian
Activa
will have a close
Unicornio.
look at the extra deck that Jessica
Tira
has brought
inicial.
to this final of the World Championship Qualifier Europe in Utrecht.
Parece tenerlos él, hasta el momento parece tenerlos él. Ya ganó uno. Y en este parece. Depende de la mano. Deben llegar poco abajo.
No.
Yeah, I think it's any
When
kind
a
of
monster
monster,
is
right?
destroyed by battle instead of the graveyard, you can target one Ethereum monster in your graveyard.
Yeah, that could be extremely relevant if Jessica knows and Christian knows.
So, but there is
Tiene el
the
campo.
race-off, so he can basically
Para
choose
buscar.
which of the ones he wants. Also, pretty important, there is now the attack gain effect in place of the race-off, so Unicorn could just run over the Bangalancer, and that is pretty impressive. Teardrop also has 2,800 defense. I think the Unicorn is at 2,800 now as well, so if he finds another monster to summon out, that would be big enough.
With a different attribute as well.
And that would be the Kashtira Rysart. However, Teardrop is still a thing right here. I'm trying to think of a way in which you are completely fine by just going for special summon Rysart here, because then I think
Pero
Teardrop
claro,
has to
tenés
Yeah, but then you have
un
Kashtira Birth, and then you can just bring back the Rysart, so I think we're totally fine with that. He decides for the Scarecrow Kashtira, though, which is also a reasonable thing to do, because if you now use Scarecrow Kashtira, you can banish one of your Kashtira monsters from the hand, which you then can bring back Kashtira Birth, so that's kind of nice too.
Yeah, I really love this play actually because I was thinking as you guys were to add the Rise Heart, but then that would get tributed and then you'd never have a way to get your Fenrir into play because you have to
Bueno,
bring
ese
back the
daño.
Rise Heart from Kashtira Birth.
Le
This
quito
way
el
you
link
banish
ese.
the Fenrir straight from your hand
No
and
sé.
then summon it straight up with Birth. Also, it's got a very threatening effect when you go second.
Uh-huh.
Kashtira. Any monster that battles a Kashtira monster will have its effect negated.
Le
So
quito
this
el
forces out
Scarecrow,
Teardrop
Kashtira.
if he wants to.
Y
Just by
llega
attacking.
Henry.
Jessica did not even think about negating the effect of Scarecrow Kashtira because that activates in hand. That Rikka Princess in the graveyard was not chained to this, and therefore it has immediately hit the field. Because if she would have just negated the effect of Scarecrow Kashtira,
Yeah.
that would have meant
Y ahora-
that both cards would have stayed in
Estoy
hand, right?
pensando. Tienen tiempo. 20
So
minutos.
let's check Scarecrow
En busca
Kashtira
del
if
Henry.
this is... I think this is not a cost because you can go spell it.
Yeah,
Efecto de ahí
that's the thing.
de
Like both of them would stay in hand, but there is the tribute effect of the Snowdrop,
Snowdrop.
or rather Teardrop it is, right?
And now I think you can
Oh,
even
Teardrop.
run over the Teardrop with the Scarecrow Kashtira and run over the Bangalancer with the Unicorn.
True, we now have 4 attributes, so that Unicorn would be big enough, but also, of course, the Scarecrow Kashtira is big enough to run over it.
I was thinking...
Oh wait, but let's not forget about the bonus effect of Teardrop, right? Because Teardrop gains
Unfortunately,
300
only
attack and
attack
defense.
points.
Only attack points? Oh, that's
I read
really
that one earlier
unfortunate.
as well. I was
Okay,
checking
yeah.
to see if it gained enough stats, but it doesn't, unfortunately.
So I was thinking as well about the Discoloseum
Lo
protection
que
effect,
¿no?
or the add-back effect rather. If you take away
Pega en
the attack of the
defensa.
Scarecrow Kashtira, if we are using the Discoloseum to summon back to add back a Lily Borea, you can special summon out the Lily Borea soon, but there is no card that you can search from your deck, and then you have no card in your graveyard
Pega en
that you
defensa,
can
sí.
target with the Ethereum King Regulars that you have in hand. So you could still use it as an extender and then link it off at some point, but you would... I think it's a free summon, it's pretty good. Depends
Yeah,
on
that was what I was about to say too.
I think once you finish your own thought, it was like, yeah, I think we
Yeah.
should and then something with it.
Yep.
But it's definitely worth considering.
Of course, Jessica does use the effect, does
Cuida
remember
del
the
campo.
effect of your Discoloseum here, and that will be able to send that Liberator to the
Manda a
graveyard.
Lily. Al cementerio. Bien.
Oh, it protects as well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I was
Y
getting confused.
protege.
So you can protect and send to the graveyard, and then when you
Okay.
destroy by battle, then you can add one back. So you also have 2 Lily Boreas. So this is really, really strong.
Yeah, I hadn't realized this either. Christian may not either have realized how badly this was going to go, maybe just using the battle phase here.
It's almost like we weren't reading the cards completely.
Okay,
It's
entonces-
mystery.
I mean, we can't even blame Christian. We didn't.
Acá
Even, we
sigue
had the
Juan,
card in front of
no
us,
le
but
llega
we
acá.
both missed the first effect.
Happens
campo,
every time.
To be honest,
entonces
Furion
le
Discoloseum
pegó
is not the card that
y
usually stays on the end field of the Rikka board.
y
It's
quedó
not
el
just
efecto del
exactly. You
campo.
would usually have
Le
Rikka
protegió
Control, which is super
y
powerful,
encima
but
le
yeah,
manda
just trying to
cementerio.
attack again, and this time it is successful. We
Y
are running
Lily-
over the Teardrop.
I thought
Serio.
that at this point you could
No,
run
no
over
sé.
the Bangalancer as well, and then go into a big eye take control over the Teardrop,
En
because you
dos.
can actually use the effect as long as you have a plant monster as the material, and then go for a zoom
Está
to
leyendo
the big eye.
bastante.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
I would like that
yeah, I
too.
was thinking of
Más o menos.
I take Bengalans. I'm
Yeah,
not sure.
that works as well, I think.
So
No.
let's see. Do we go for the good old Big Eye? Such an old and iconic card. Of course,
Yeah.
it's not the regular Big Eye, but
Okay,
it's
Big Eye,
number
yeah.
11 Big Eye. 11, my lucky number, by the way.
I was,
Okay,
I was
pero
wondering
con
the,
control.
if you knew the effect of regular big eye.
There's none, right? Or is
Yeah,
there?
yeah, there's a big eye. It's a flip. Look at the top 5
Y
cards.
ahora
Oh,
hace
fair
Zeus.
Bangalancer has a powerful grave effect that
It
special
does.
itself back, so
Yeah.
it is much
Okay.
clearer to go for this line, go for the Zeus over the big eye, and take the
Bueno.
Bangalancer because it can't be summoned.
Pensé que voy a haber
Honestly, I
hecho
feel like
más
Christian has
cosas.
not done a single
pero
mistake
está.
so far in this final. He's
Okay.
really piloting well through what Jessica is putting up there, but now he has to face
Ahora
that
viene
Rikka paddle coming back from the
Petal.
graveyard in the
Huele,
end.
¿no?
Yeah, battle are really powerful. Little extra bonus at the end
Zeus.
of each of your opponent's turns. Even if your opponent looks
Hace
like they've got
bastante
everything you have to offer, there's still
útil,
one
me
more
parece, ¿no?
for sure going to have to deal with.
This is also, Christian has not lost a single life point so far, so Bangalancer won't hurt him that much. Does Bangalancer have any restriction, or can you just use this whenever?
So there
Cementerio.
comes the regulars from hand. We knew about
Se
that.
va
Does Christian
a
right away respond to that?
¿Tiene una respuesta para eso? No tiene, ¿no?
It's been rough.
It'll be an interesting time to Zeus.
But that makes the paddle go off pretty easily, doesn't it? You can't really do anything about the paddle now either.
Igual el Zeus tiene solo 2 materiales, así que ya tiene que renegar el Zeus.
That will of course maybe be negated. And then you can Zeus. But then again the Bangalancer is in the graveyard, so that's
Entonces se puede seguir jugando
a
ella.
decent spot for Jessica here.
I do
No
agree.
tiene
It doesn't look too
mucho
bad for
problema.
her.
Christian with just the 1 card left in hand, which I'm not sure we know what it is.
Queda una carta en mano por Kashtira.
Might be one of the hand traps he has left.
Yeah,
There's Mudan. Finally access to Mudan. And access to Mudan also, of course, means finally access to Rikka Concon, because that's the card you want to grab with it.
Jessica just got to make sure that she destroys or deals with that Zeus before committing everything to the field.
Also there
Miremos.
is a Rikka Princess still in the graveyard, right? So even
Ok, ahora baja Lily.
Bangalancer bounce regular Zeus line.
Oh, and look
Pero
at
es
that,
Lily.
all 3 Lily
Okay.
Boreas now in play. As we were saying, 2 already in the main deck, and the 3rd one find its way into the main deck as well from the side deck. So I love that perspective. All the
Juega
Therian cards
2
there
en el
right next
main
to
y
each
1
other.
en el extra.
It's,
En el
it's
extra
a
en
pretty
side.
good Therion deck.
At this
I
point
can
it's
tell.
Tyrion.
I can tell.
Ok.
Regulars, Lily Borea, and Lily Borea there, forming a pretty cool field. And also that Disco Sayon there, so it's even stronger.
True.
Yeah.
Does Lily Borea have any other effects other than searching a...
Está teniendo efectos ahí,
Yeah,
algo.
Therian monster equipped with this card gains
Quedan 15
700 attack.
minutos.
So actually, this would be big enough to run over Zeus here, which we are trying to do, in
Ok.
fact.
Bien. Gana ataque al equipo.
Wait, let's
Y le
calculate.
está pegando.
Lily Borea is equipped
Queda dando
with
el Zeus.
Lily Borea, meaning she goes up to 3100. But there's also Race Off, and Race Off does not only increase attack points, but also defense points.
And for
so
any monster as well.
I do believe that Zeus is actually big enough to withstand that attack, right? Yes, I think we are going to take damage here from attacking into the Zeus.
Ok.
Jessica got a little bit ahead of herself because I think that
Bien, ella le pegó al Zeus, pero el Zeus.
The Therion King's at 3,500. How many attributes do we have in play?
El Therion Lily estaría en 31. Porque aumenta el ataque cuando está equipado.
Christian heavily considering to use the effect, and he in
El
fact does
campo
so.
de Kashtira
And
le
Jessica still
da
has
su
that
ataque
Rikka Princess in the
y
graveyard.
defensa al Zeus.
Perfect time for the Rikka Princess here. Not too
Por
much of a
ende,
cost to
recibe
drop that.
daño ahí.
Wasn't even big enough to
Y
attack
tiene que
the
atacar
Zeus
con
anyway,
Therion.
needed for.
Activa el efecto de
that's
Zeus.
really true. And now the Zeus is
En
running
declaración
out of
del
regulars. The next question I
Regulus.
want to ask myself is
Lo niego,
what
obviamente.
did she do after this? Because yes, she got rid of the
Limpia
Zeus,
con el
she used
Regulus, que
Princess,
está
and
en
there's still a Bangalancer on Christian's
35,
side.
algo
He
así.
has the Kashtira Birth and 1 card in hand.
But I
So
mean, we have
Jessica
Muda.
has the Mudan.
Yeah.
And she has the Therion King to negate Bangalancer. Therion King as well normally only comes in with 1
Y
negate.
pero
but
sigue
you can
jugando
negate
ella.
by sending the Lily Borea if it's attached as well. So that should mean you can negate once on this turn and again on your
I think
opponent's
you need
turn.
to trade a monster. I'm not too sure about that.
So Mudan coming onto the field, and the
Veiler.
last card for
Okay.
Christian was a
Wow.
fact Veiler, so still no access to
Veiler.
Rikka Concon here. Through
Okay.
that effect Veiler, that's huge for Christian. So Jessica really
Yeah,
again
but
being
Regulus
stopped in her
is-
track. But we are trying to negate with Regulus, sending the Lily Borea.
I think you have to send a Therian monster card.
I think it's still considered a Therion monster
Alright.
card, yeah. It's a bit of a strange ruling, I totally agree, but I think it's still
Mhm.
considered a monster card. It doesn't say
Y
when it has a
ahora
spell.
intenta negar con
I'm
el.
100% sure, but I think I've seen
Yeah,
people
equip
do
that monster to
before.
this
I'm
card.
99% sure that
¿El
Jessica has
Regulus?
done that a couple of
Sí.
times before, and she knows
Okay.
her Rikka stuff.
Entonces
She knows
sí,
her
lo
Therian
negó,
stuff,
y ahora
so I would
sí.
be pretty shocked that that wouldn't be correct here. And therefore we
Encuentra
do
el-
in fact get access to the Rikka Concon,
Rikka
which
Concon,
now will
cambia
be
el campo.
a new field spell on our side of the field.
Would it have been the correct play to
Yeah.
preemptively use Bangalancer on the Therian King Regulus just so you have this Veiler in your hand that you can activate if the Mudan comes down because you knew that it was coming?
I do kind of like that, I gotta say, yeah. Because, I mean, Mudan activates a hand, right?
Wait, you can only set up your Rikka cards with Concon if you control a Rikka monster. So if you bounce this one back now,
Can we tribute
But I
some
mean,
of the
yeah,
Mudan?
exactly, that's what I was
How big
thinking.
is
Okay.
Mudan?
Mudan is
Bien.
level 6, I'm pretty sure, so we can just tribute it over
Respecto
to Regulus.
del-
That's what I was thinking.
Oh, this is a very cool game. There's a lot of niche interactions going on
El
here.
Let me just double check.
bicho
Yeah,
Rikka
it's
ese,
level 6, it
no
absolutely
sé,
is level
que
6,
le
so we
erró.
could make our Rikka Concon live.
A levantar la mano.
Oh, there's also
Oh,
triple
yeah,
tactics
TTT.
thrust!
Okay.
Sighted in going first by Jessica, but now
Come
there's
on.
a monster on Christian's side of the field, so we can just search out any spell or trap card that we like from our deck. That's huge!
are we actually searching for Glamour right here? Because then you could
Bien,
tribute
bien.
the Bangalancer on the opposing
Bien,
side
bien,
after you
bien
tribute
atrás,
the Regulus, of course, because you still need a plant monster.
Or maybe a talent? Does she have a talent?
11 minutos están quedando.
No, we checked for that earlier, there's no talents in her deck.
Wow, just the tactics.
I mean,
Ah,
there are
interesante
other
la
really good
final
cards you
esta.
can grab out.
Maybe something as simple as a Harpy's Feather Duster to make sure the Birth is no longer in play.
Oh yeah, right after this. Oh no, we can't use that here.
Espera,
That was
espera,
I was
espera.
thinking with banish from the No, you
Oh,
can use
it
the
is
Glamour.
just
Trajo.
And you don't really even need to tribute the Mudan here, right? You can just
No,
tribute the
que
Bangalancer immediately with the Concon and then
You-
special summon it out as well.
Well, you wouldn't be able to do that yet.
Esa era
because
que
Concon,
trajo.
You need to have a Rip monster.
Not just
in
for
either
setting a
respect.
spell or trap card from your deck.
Absolutely, so
Yes.
we are tributing Christians,
Tributo
or rather our
ahí.
own Bangalancer, because it goes back to our graveyard, and Rikka Glamour is
Con
resolving here. That's super, super big for Jessica.
And then
Rikka
Bangalancer
Glamour
can be
is-
able to come
Oh,
back.
the
Oh,
Orchid!
Orchid!
Also the Predator Spider Orchid, so that would be a way to
Orchid.
take care of the Kashtira Boya.
Orchid,
So I think
perfect.
Christian is going to be left with
Orchid.
nothing after this.
Was it really the
Eso
correct play
rompe
to
nada más,
Bangalancer
sí.
the Therian King
Rompe,
Regulus
¿no?
and keep the Veiler in hand for the Mudan later on? This is such a crazy comeback from Jessica.
Yeah.
She really shows
Estilo de
Christian
rompe
how
ahí.
to play this Rikka deck. I mean, he's
Oh,
not trying to
yes.
play the Rikka deck, but now everything is cleared off. The Birth is gone as well. Bangalancer is going to be summoned back. There is still the Therian
ahora
King
puede jugar un
Regulus.
poco más
This is just going to be
tranquila.
perfect for her in this game too.
Also, I love
13
how she
minutos.
held that triple tactics thrust for so
Yes.
long, right?
No se
Nobody
pudo,
saw
pero
it
le
coming,
empujó.
and then she just
Ahí
played
está.
out the
Ok,
ball.
juntas cartas.
And
Bien.
we have seen this final
Sí,
so
sí,
much.
juntas
And
sus
Jessica
cartas.
beat Monsters.
Entonces,
Oh, we will have the third game on our
bien.
hand. That's crazy. And
Vamos
the
a
crowd
tener
loves it.
el
Look at those people
tercer duelo.
celebrating. Yu-Gi-Oh is beautiful, and we are all enjoying this final.
Está bastante intenso esto.
playing with these lovely plant monsters as well.
Bastante lindo ese duelo.
and this Kashtira deck be the new European champion. Let's start game number
Rikka
3 of the
Kashtira,
finals right now.
supongo. Los últimos minutos nomás. Al final. Último duelo.
The crowd wants to see it. The crowd wants to crown a new European champion. Friendly handshake before we get into the action, and we will see if Christian in fact going first or will he get the Jessica to start this third game.
I think I saw him motion towards himself.
El top 4 es Rikka Kashtira. ¿Qué más?
It's pretty nice, so you can basically handpick the first card that you want to play, which will be the second card that you will play, because Prosperity was the first.
I like the way you said Jessica didn't look like she was. I think Jessica is always ready.
Labyrinth y...
Here's a Rikka hand.
Después no sé qué otra. A ver si vale otro más.
What are we looking at? There's Kashtira Burp. There's a unicorn. That's pretty huge if he didn't have that yet.
Unicornio ahí,
There's
Nibiru.
Nibiru as a very
Top Beer,
valuable
¿no?
backup here for Christian.
Unicornio,
If he wants
Fenrir.
it, he can just now
Otro
choose,
Prosperity.
do I need extenders, do I need starters, or do I need a backup plan if everything goes south? No, we're
A
taking the
ver.
unicorn.
Ok.
That's what
Para
we're
el
definitely going
unicornio.
to do. Jessica considering her hand for a second. I thought maybe Droll and Lockbird is coming down, but it is not. It would have been in the side deck, but probably not the
Unicornio.
best card
Efecto,
side
¿tiene
in this
algo?
matchup.
No.
Unicorn is now going to search for the bird again. We might actually see a bird
Okay,
moment, some
Mir.
play yet again just here. So, what is it going to be, Christian? What can you offer for us?
It is Kashtira VS first
Teosis
of all. Jessica
en
says,
mano
wait a
ya.
second, I might have a response for that, but she
Fenrir,
does not.
okay.
It is resolving. Fenrir hitting the field.
Fenrir
And I don't think we've
efecto.
been asking this question all weekend because we don't have too much Kashtira on the stream. But do you play around Nibiru? Are you an anti-Nibiru person?
It's rough. I think we did not see
Alright.
Nibiru in game 1, we didn't see Nibiru in game 2, so I would just go in
just
it
go
here.
for it.
We are not playing around Nibiru, we want to win this game with a
Bien.
combo. That's what I'm saying.
Even in the final.
Yes. I'm no person of securities, I just want to go for it.
Y
That's
va a
fine.
juego nivel
And
4,
Christian
que
has
es
a
el
similar
nombre
mindset.
del juego.
That does sound like you, Sebastian. So we are going to see a
But
Shangri.
look, he is agreeing with me. Shangri-Ira is being summoned
Shangri-Ira.
right away, right after that. The
Bien.
right side is activating, and that means we will also special summon
Quedan
one of the
7
materials
minutos.
through the effect of Kashtira Big
Iniciar
Heart.
Big Bang.
Big Bang, not Big
Y
Heart.
3 de arriba.
I'm sure Rysart has a big heart as well, and now Shangri-Ira is going to give us back one of those Fenrir or unicorns. I'm much more of a
Bloquear
Fenrir
una
guy,
zona.
but let's see. Also, do you think that he's going to leave a Fenrir on the field and then end up on one Rysart with one material, or are we going for an overlay for the second Shangri-Ira and then have the free material Rysart ready?
He also has the birth. It's not so easy to use the birth in this situation. Normally it's good to have the field spell. I mean, it's always good to have the field spell. But if you have the field spell in this situation, then you can use the field spell to destroy your own copy of Shangri-Ira.
He's not sure himself there. Are we going for Fenrir or are we going for Unicorn? Because I have to say, I also like Unicorn, because if you summon out Unicorn
pero
here,
si
you
llega
can
a la
special summon
carta,
out Fenrir
me
from the
parece
deck,
que
and
no
there's
siempre
only
tiene que hacerlo.
2 Unicorns in your deck, but 3 Fenrirs. So I do have to say, if you want to have more Unicorns in your deck, I kind of like going that approach. But does Christian even special summon here? He just wants that for follow-up. He just keeps that
Okay.
Fenrir in his hand.
Busca
That's a
Rysart.
very, very smart decision there. I like that.
Yeah, it's a lesser known effect of Big Bang here that you can just add the card straight to your hand if you want to. Keep it nice and safe.
Oh, but that's
Okay,
it. There's no
encaste.
anti-spell
No,
or nothing. He's
ah,
relying
okay, no se te da
on
nada.
the hand interactions he has.
Bien,
There has to be
pero
Ashbos
acaba de
effect Veil or
invocar
Ghost
otro
Monster in his hand. I'm sure.
Fenrir.
Not going to be
Está
a balance,
pensando
I
eso.
can tell you that we are in standby phase already resolving the Shangri-Ira, and there is a Fenrir on the
Okay,
field in
Fenrir.
nice defense position. Lightning Storm who?
Like, what do you think about that end field there? Because a Rysart not being able to activate his effect just yet because there's
Un
only one
anti-spell, si
material
hubiera
under
sido ahí, le
it.
hubiera
So
dado
is there
nivel.
even any kind of
Seguro.
interaction?
Oh, there is Dark
Bien,
Dark.
Cruz.
Oh,
Bien,
Jessica
bien,
the crowd
bien.
goes wild.
Okay.
No effects to be used from Christian's field anymore.
Un
So he has to
anti-spell
rely on
ahí,
his hand
¿sabes
from
qué?
now on.
Also keep in
Hubiera
mind,
pagado
if
todo,
she
pero
wanted
bueno.
to use triple tactics thrust, she just absolutely could, because the Shangri-Ira activated itself in
Yeah,
standby
a ver,
phase.
a ver,
So
a
you
ver.
can go for whatever you want if you have it. We are considering to
Okay.
activate the small one. Small one
Small
is still
one, okay.
incredibly powerful. You can get to the Sunseed Genius
Yeah,
loci.
With basically any monster,
Yes.
I think
5
will get you
minutos
to the
quedando.
Sunset Genius loci.
Is he going to do something about it? No. Is this going to resolve?
No
We
va
are
a
going to
resolver
reveal
mucho
the
tú,
Primula.
al menos.
Primula, what will be our bridge here? What will bring us access
Pero
to that
ella ganaría
beautiful normal
seguro.
monster to the Sunseed Genius
Entonces-
loci?
I love the theme of that card because it indicates that this is a small world and every monster knows every other monster. You
Yeah.
know, so you can just search basically anything
Puede
with
ganar
anything,
en su
and that
turno.
is just beautiful.
I think this is a super cool card. I don't think we've been seeing this
Su árbol,
much
su
in the
puente,
Protect,
entre
and,
no sé
maybe it's
cuál.
why Jessica's
Oh,
running
look at
cards
that. We don't even want
Yeah.
Loci. We go for the Petal.
Y para llegar a...
Interesting decision there. I would have thought it's always
Petal.
going to be
Okay.
Loci because that's the first monster you always want to
Solo
summon
para
out.
echar un poco abajo.
So, oh true, that's a good point. We might already have Unexpected Die being the next card we activate, and then we just normal summon the Petal after, and we want to bait out an Ash Blossom with that small world, and the Unexpected Die just comes right after. That's what's going to happen.
What I really liked about Christian Thomas's play is that he really
Bien.
prepared himself for a Dark Ruler no
¿Qué
more.
más?
Yes, he set up his end field. Okay,
Bueno.
but he added the birth to his hand, did not play it.
Quedan
also
4
added the
minutos.
Henry to his hand,
Ya
did not play
estamos
it also,
terminando
it was
acá.
basically plus the entire time for
Ish.
in case Jessica breaks his hand. And it is a
Evenly
famously
matched.
So
Okay.
Jessica actually decides, hey, I can't deal damage anyways this turn, why don't I just evenly away
Bien.
your field?
Evenly
Honestly, I
match.
love it more and more, but Christian just didn't commit too many
Bien.
cards to his side of the field because
Triple
Jessica
Bien,
tactics,
trust.
throws,
Bien,
let's
trust.
go.
Ok, tenía
The
todo.
next power card that she
La verdad.
activates. We haven't gone into any of the plant cards yet, but we are taking away Christian's field, Christian's
Quedan
hand
3
with
minutos.
those generic cards that are just oh so
Y el
powerful.
líder Kruller
But
y
that's
tras
the
esta la
the
dash.
perfect answer for it, because you
Bien.
can add the card from your deck to your hand. What is the next thing to happen? We know that there is a petal and
we now know
princess.
all cards. We
Este
start with
Petal.
Princess. Princess is going to go into Dryas.
Rolito.
So next thing to happen is the normal summon of Paddle.
Is there
Vamos
any
a
more
un-
interruption?
vamos a
There
un
can't be, right?
depete.
Because we have the princess, and we have a princess
3
already
minutos.
to negate any
Estamos
monster
en
effects,
2.
and no more infinite impermanences can come down.
But what do you make of this? Because Christian has a lot of follow-up in his hand already for the next turn. Fenrir and Birth, that is just a lot. And also she has to get rid of the Kashtira Rysart. I'm pretty sure there will be some
Bueno,
shenanigans
quedando
later on.
ya la final de esto, espero que les haya gustado.
We can tribute it for Concon, I think.
Perfecto. La idea es poder hacer el sitio haciendo esto. Igual toma su tiempo, mirar todos los duelos, narrarlos, grabarlos, hacer la imagen, digamos, pero bueno. Mi idea es seguir haciéndolo para traer más contenido al canal, diferentes cosas, porque digamos, deck profiles, combos y eso se terminan acabando. Por el momento unboxing no, por tema que está bastante claro el material sellado, mismo para traer otros decks, armar otros decks, entonces y no he conseguido cartas nuevas por el momento, entonces la idea va a ser seguir, capaz de conseguir unas duality, esperamos que pueda conseguir unas duality para la cabeza de grande, pero bueno. Ok, pasó así. Kashtira Fenrir tiene... Esto no hace nada, ¿no? Esto creo que no hace nada tampoco. Yo creo que si entra Battle declara, ¿no? Declara ataque, vanilleo acá abajo. Acá le pega a ese. Este gana ataque. Sí.
Birth is going to summon back the Unicorn. Unicorn is going to be able to search Kashtira Theosis as follow. We're going to summon the Rysart now as well. Everything in attack position. Is it possible that Christian Thomas is going for the game push right in this turn? Or is he going to solo? He has the Kashtira Scarecrow in hand, so no need for Theosis special summoning out the Scarecrow. Are we going to try to win this game in this turn?
Lo puede ganar acá. Si vos preguntas a mí, lo gana acá.
In the last game, yes, we are going to tribute that Unicorn. At least that's what she's thinking. Time is dwindling down here.
3
Is Christian going
segundos.
to be able to put up enough damage here in this turn of the duel? Now, there's timeout being announced, so the next damage that is going to be put in here will decide the outcome of this final.
El próximo recibir daño es el que gana.
This card is always known for dealing a lot of damage. I don't think that the Scarecrow Kashtira is going to be summoned out here. It is going right back to the hand. We have the Birth, and funnily enough, if you normal summon Kashtira Scarecrow with the Birth, it is going to be in attack position, which is really not that useful.
That would be very funny. I mean, we do have the Fenrir.
Sí, acá esa cosa de camino.
Any of the monsters,
Ah,
just
deja.
to attack directly, right?
And to be honest, Scarecrow Kashtira normal summon overlay with the Rysart is also a play that you will have to consider.
So first of all, but we're going to use the effect of Rysart, making it a level 7, which apparently
Sí, 7.
successfully happens.
Tiene que
But
pegar
we
nomás
just go
y...
first to bench
¿no?
the top 3 cards of our deck.
No, tiene que leer las cartas igual.
She's only got the 2 cards in hand.
Tiene que leer.
Last turn.
Yeah.
Espero que lo haya leído. Porque esto hace algo cuando batalla o algo medio raro ahí.
Are we going to do anything about that as Christian Thomas? Are we going to normal summon the Scarecrow Kashtira? Yes, in attack position. What a stylish way to go into a possible rank 7 Exceeds play. We will not be able to summon Kashtira Rysart as it is in the graveyard, and it is limited to 1 copy per deck. We're going to the battle phase. Fenrir is attacking. Fenrir wants to banish the Sun Avalon Dryas right here.
Mudan has 2,400 defense points.
Wait, it does!
Oh.
Did Christian forget? Mudan actually is 2,400
What?
defense!
What?
We will not be able to run over this Mudan! What's going on, Christian? Did you not read
Okay.
the defense stats of this monster?
Just had to target the Mudan, and
Yes.
then it says you can attack directly if your opponent only controls a Dryas, and that would have been the game.
Christian, what a huge misstep! We're in battle phase! I don't think he's going to be able to deal damage this turn!
Christian Thomas
Ok,
just
acá
took
es
the
donde
game out of
manqueó
the
él,
palm of his hand, and
vanilló
maybe
eso y
this
le
just got
pegó
a
esto que
chance to
tiene
recover in
24.000
another battle
defensa.
phase. I would have never imagined this. We're looking at
Oh.
our extra deck. This might
Wow.
mean that we're already in main phase 2. That was a really easy way to deal damage.
¿Cómo se
Christian,
equivocó ahí? Ok.
So now he's considering his options, and also that will mean that there will be an attack position monster now left on the field, most likely for Christian.
Wow.
Definitely main phase 2 here because we're activating
Yes.
the bottom of parity.
Ok.
That is crazy.
Entonces
So
tengo que haber
it seems
vanillado
like
acá
Jessica will have another chance here in this.
y pegarle
Of course, it is
al,
not going to end in a draw,
al
as this is the
arbolito.
final of the European Championship.
Claro, si el
But
arbolito
that
tiene
means the
0.
first damage that is going to be dealt, or
Porque
in this
para
particular
que
case, maybe even
el
our
pibe
first
o
time
haga algo el
that Jessica
arbolito,
might perform could be cool.
tiene
If
que
Christian just activated this
tiene
spot
un
of prosperity
Rikka o algo
before,
así.
because how many life points you are taking does not matter. He would have found the enemy controller to turn the Mudan into attack position.
Or just take it. Anything.
Or that.
That would have been easy, but
Okay,
now
let's-
he has to think about what to do in main
¿Qué
phase.
hace más de su parte? Porque
Way
se
worse
equivocó ahí.
situation. I think now you kind of wanted effect
Y otra cosa que apunta es que se había quedado Prosperity antes, capaz que tenía el enemy controller para dar vueltas de ataque
But I mean, also, we kind of
al
have to deal with that Mudan now, right? Because
el
Mudan
bicho de
is a
ella
Rikka monster on
y
the
puede
field.
pegarle
If
ahí,
they
¿no?
come together, I don't think that's too favorable. So we'll
Pero...
just dog arm for both of them, right?
Oh,
Yes,
man.
Dark Arm summoned in attack position, which is also
Esto no
really
quema,
good
¿no?
because we're opening ourselves up for another bit of damage. You can, if you leave up one monster in attack position, then you contribute it off of with enemy controller later on. But if you have 2, you do not have the option to have all of your monsters in defense position later on. So we're getting rid of the Concon
Lo limpió el campo.
Mudan. We're banishing the Theosis first, so we are going to add some resources back to our hand. Christian Thomas is still not in a bad position, but I think it's
crazy
how often we have seen this for so many important games this weekend that players just
hubieron varios errores.
Is it correct to destroying the Mudan because that should let you summon the petal, or the petal can summon itself anyway, right?
Yeah,
you don't need no
varios
moves,
errores
you just can't have a non-plant, yeah.
en los últimos duelos que hemos visto.
Good start already for Christian, but
Pero bueno,
I mean, yeah, Kashtira Fenrir already was used to banish the Dryas face
está en
down.
la
Therefore,
final, hay
all
mucha
using anymore,
gente
as this is still
mirando,
the
todo el
same
mundo.
turn, and play will go back to Jessica Robinson, who
Ya
now
está.
has the game in her hand.
Trate
She
de
can
seguir,
decide
ya
here
está,
this
ya
turn.
pasó y seguir
She
jugando.
must be absolutely amazed she's getting another turn here. We know there's one petal, one
Pero ella tiene otro
Sun
turno
Seed,
y
Lokai.
con eso
What else can she do?
And Christian Thomas playing this entire tournament
dio
carefully to
vida,
perfection
igual.
just to not attack in the correct sequencing. We're
Y
going to
tiene
see
otra Concord.
another Rikka Concord,
Wow, that
which
was
is
a top deck.
an absolutely crazy draw. Right,
no
you
hubiera
know the
sido
other
él
cards. It's Princess in hand and Petal, right?
Yes.
Lokai.
ganando
Lokai
ahí.
in hand, so you don't even want to
Y
take
tiene
a
que esperar
penalty
otro
because that would
turno
enable
más.
him just to
Dejarlo
null or
jugar.
to normal summon the Lokai and then go off.
We have both though. Does
No es cierto, cuando ya no hay tiempo, que si sigue daño de algo, que ella gane vida. Ya está, ella gana.
a Rikka spell from the deck, which is Rikka Glamour in this case. Rikka Glamour can tribute away the
Ya está, si
Fenrir.
ella gana
This
vida.
Pokemon is super powerful here because it can
No,
just
no.
clean away that Fenrir before you have to use any monster effects. So
thing
now
is-
there's one less
Yeah.
interruption to worry about.
I'm kind of worried that Christian also did just not use the Kashtira Birth Effect there because that
Pero igual
Kashtira
la
Fenrir
rolita
won
le
the
hace
draw in the
primero
second as
perder
well as
vida y
banishing,
después
so
gana, ¿no?
rather use the Kashtira Birth Effect to banish 3 cards from the grave face down
Algo así.
quickly.
Maybe
No
she's
sé si
in
es
his head right now
si ya
because this was a
vamos a
crucial
terminar la
mistake.
fase.
And I don't know if he can recover from this because Jessica just needs to deal any kind of damage right
Or
here.
gain any life
Oh,
points.
you're tributing Fenrir for the effect of Snowdrop there.
You cannot respond by tributing your Fenrir with enemy controller because it is being tributed for a cost.
That is 2 special summons already. Yes, she just has to gain some life points. And we all know that a card that is called Healer is really good at that.
Ok.
And getting another
Bien.
petal in play for free
Sí.
with Snowdrop effect.
Manqueó ahí.
Make all of your monsters level 8
Solo
here,
el
which is
healer
not very
es
big.
la
They
que le
don't
da
do
vida.
damage, but they
Ok,
clear away
ese
that
link
Dark
ese
Dragon
que
very,
hemos
very
visto.
easily.
Son healers se
Christian
llama.
is shaking his head. He knows
Y
what
bueno.
just happened. And
Y
Jessica
ya
is just
manqueó.
in her element
No
right
tiene más
now.
nada.
This is what she wants to do the most. Go for uninterrupted combos with the genius
Ahí.
Sunseed
Va a ganar
Lokai. It
vida.
enters the battlefield one
¿No?
more time. And this looks like a really, really easy combo for her because she just starts with 4 monsters on the field.
Tiene que linkear y ya
that
está.
Genius Lokai, which is full
Tengo
combo by
entendido,
itself.
¿no?
It's definitely enough to force out the enemy controller. You can just gain some life points maybe with the healer.
Sí, igual tiene el control enemigo seteado.
Something in Christian's hand that we don't know about.
Maybe in a mirror.
Le hubiera venido muy bien. Sí, usaba la perspectiva antes para dar vuelta en la carta que tenía ella en ataque.
Enemy controller cannot really answer that at all, to be honest.
And the princess now should answer any possible hand traps.
Ooh, Nibiru not really a problem anymore.
Bueno,
It's getting tense and you're also the crowd, just everyone
la tiene ahí
on the
para
edge of their seat.
ganar
They
el
want to see
duelo.
whether Jessica will be able to do this.
Jessica
Jessica?
doesn't need to know the rules that she doesn't lose just for taking 1,000 to the Sunvine sewing.
That would be quite funny, yeah.
Ok.
Even though you
Ya,
get it back
no
instantly.
solo pierde,
So
no pierde,
Dry
o sea,
is
no va a
being
perder por
summoned.
recibir daño,
Christian
sino
probably
que
going
cuando
to
termine
think
la
about that for a
fase
second.
tiene que
Jessica's
tenerla.
saying, sure, go ahead and
Take
use
your
the
time.
enemy controller here. We now have all the time of the world because we are already in timeout.
I mean, she can just make a healer straight up. She doesn't need to do anything else. Healer just needs one material, right?
Yeah. That's true.
Shit,
And she's
a
already
ver.
touching her extra deck. She wants to bring it out so
¿Qué le
badly.
hace? Que sí, hace,
Sunvine
lo
healer
está
might be
diciendo
the
en
card to decide this final.
revista de verdad, ¿cierto? Es con una carta nomás hace healer y ya gana ataque. Gana vida, digo.
Play this card right
¿Está?
now. I want to get ahead in life points in timeout situations. But
Nibiru. Sí, Nibiru, un petal.
But the princess is being activated. We're tributing the petal,
Oh,
and that does
tenía el
mean that
Nibiru.
Nibiru, the primal being, is not going to tribute away everything on the field. This looks like Jessica Robinson is just going to go
Uf,
for this
bueno.
Sunvine healer after all. Can
Ese
she
Nibiru
finally do it? Is
pudo
there
haber
anything
salvado,
that this
pero
enemy
tenía la
controller on the
petal.
side of Christian Thomas can change here?
Taking
Ahí está.
control of the Sunseed
Y bueno,
Lokai would
y
give a
creo
monster
que ahí
zero
va a
attack
quedar.
points, so
Yes.
can't really be doing that when your opponent could just link up into anything and attack it. So what's the plan?
I think it was interesting to see that she decided to special summon the Snowdrop in defense position because we could just take the Lokai here and then there would only be a monster with 0 attack left on the side of the field of Jessica. But
Yes,
now we are
Link.
able to perform a Link summon,
Sí,
and I do
ahí
believe that
está.
even the Sunvine healer we're
Bien.
anticipating, she will be able to gain life points from this here.
Va a ganar la
We
vida.
have an effect veiler or a ghost mourner to stop
Respirando,
this
pero
life-gaining
no
madness
te
right
gusta.
here on the side of
Pero
Jessica
nervioso.
Robinson. Christian is looking at this enemy controller, said he is not too happy about this. Does this
Tiene
resolve?
que-
Is there any way
es que
for him
tiene
to
que
damage
activarlo,
or
si no-
gain life points? Equal on one.
Sí, saludos. Ahí está.
Jessica Robinson is the
Mira.
European champion of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading Card Game in
Y yo ahí se equivocó ahí, pero bueno,
Recon Sun Analog Champions, and what is the
parte de los duelos. No hacen más así, pero bueno. Acá llegamos a la final del torneo. Espero que les haya gustado estos videos.
What a fantastic game. I'm sorry guys, the Germans couldn't bring it
Estuvo
home
muy
this
interesante,
weekend.
muy lindo. Había de todo. Algunos matches medio aburridos, otros bastante entretenidos. Y vamos a Rikka nuevamente ganar. Lo voy a dejar por acá y hasta el próximo video.
Oh yeah.